We often talk about Asia as a place of opportunity, and for one Australian architect, it's certainly delivered. At the age of 28, Mitchel Squires started his own business after working with some of fashion's biggest international luxury brands. He's now not only designing high-end department stores and luxury villas, he's also the creative mind behind the relatively new concept of airport lounges across Asia. And he's still just 30 years old. Mitchel Squires, thank you very much for joining the program.
Hello, Sarah.
Now, what brought you to Asia?
I originally came here on an internship. So I grew up on a farm. I studied in Newcastle, studied architecture, and after your third year, you have a gap year. So they say go out, work for someone, get some experience before you come back for your fourth and fifth year. So my older sister had moved to Asia about probably 10 years ago now, and so she really said, Mitch, Asia is the next best thing. It's a gateway to China. You need to come over here. I recommend you come here for an internship. So at that stage, we lined up an internship with a big developer here called Wheelock Properties. And so I came over for 4 months when I was around probably 23, and worked with that company. It was almost that stereotype of country kid hit the big smoke. I mean, I grew up on a farm, so I arrived, and I mean, everything was just so exciting, super fast paced. I mean, those trendy restaurants, amazing architecture, the high rise that was going on. You know, just the fast pace of it really just drew me in. And so from there, it sold me.
One of your first major jobs as an architect was working for the high-end retail store Lane Crawford. How big a job was that at the age of 25?
Look, it was huge for me. I just got back to Hong Kong for my internship, and so one of those influential people I met when I was there for my internship was Jennifer Wu, and she was president of Lane Crawford at the time. So I pretty much emailed her for a month, every day. I emailed like 1,000 times, and she got back to me and arranged an interview. And from there, it was a nerve-wracking interview, but I got the job. And so I was employed in their architecture team as a design manager. From that, we started on their brand new office in Wong Chuk Hang, which is a new concept for them. It's an open plan office. And so it allowed us to work with and collaborate with local architects here. So we worked with a guy called William Lim, who has a very successful architecture firm called CL3. So we worked on that, and then from that office, then I got into the core of Lane Crawford, and that was their retail stores.
You then started your own business after working for Lane Crawford. How long did it take before you signed up some of the well-known luxury brands like Givenchy, Alexander Wang and Armani?
As I mentioned, so working with Lane Crawford, they are a department store, so we had the opportunity to work with a lot of mono brands. So within the store, you're working with the likes of Armani's and Givenchy's and Alexander Wang's. So I developed quite a good relationship with them and a good client base. So a good friend of mine, a mentor, Sue Lockery, gave me the confidence to leave and start my own company and collaborate with her, and so to work with some of these brands, mostly in China.
Your work is now expanding into a new concept, designing airport lounges. Tell us about the size of this job.
I was approached by a company called Plaza Premium Lounge, it was a new concept. They'd seen some work, and so they asked me to work on a project in India. So I've never been in India before, and they said, look, we have a project in Bangalore, which is the IT hub, the Silicon Valley of India. The airport is expanding, so they gave me a domestic lounge and an international lounge. It was also a transit hotel as well. So these were all big projects. I mean, for me, going to India, they were 10,000 square meters of airport lounges and hotels in a foreign country. So it was a huge step. And also, I mean, this company, they're the first founder of independent paying lounges. So they're based in 110 locations over 23 international airports. So it was a huge brand for me to work with.
And what has been one of the most challenging jobs?
What is nice and the journey that I've been on is I haven't kind of been stuck on one type of architecture. So we do everything from residential, commercial, food and beverage, to now working on resorts. So at the moment we've got a great project down in Indonesia. It's called Lombok. And we're building a high-end resort, 60 villas over the next 4 years, clubhouse facilities. That's amazing.
Looking at design and architecture, are the budgets bigger here, and is the brief different to say what you might get in Australia?
Look, it is a little bit different. As I said, we work on a range of projects. So, currently I'm working with a friend of ours, Cara, and they started up a genie juice concept. So it's a detox cold pressed juice concept. So we have a small 300 square foot store we're doing for them in the IFC. So we range from a small brief like that, and then, as I mentioned, to now the resort of 60 villas, clubhouse facilities. So it is different.
You're now 30. Do you think you could have achieved what you have here if you were still back in Australia?
Look, it's difficult to say. I guess working with some of those bigger brands gave me some confidence, and I met a whole range of people that I don't believe I probably would have met in Australia. Who knows? But it provided a platform and gave you that confidence to go out by yourself.
And you haven't looked back?
No, I haven't looked back at all. I'm developing the team here all the time. We've got now 10 staff. We're developing. We've got a lot of projects coming up. So continually developing. It's very, very exciting for us.
What advice would you give to someone who might be considering a move to Asia for business?
Look, I think moving to Hong Kong, you need a plan. You need to do your research. You have to set yourself some goals. But I think at the same time, you need to go out of your comfort zone. Knock on as many doors as you can. My parents always said to me, and growing up on a farm, they were real hard workers. So I've always had that hard-working kind of ethic instilled into me and my sisters. So I think it is a lot of hard work. And over here, I guess nothing really is worthwhile without hard work. So I think give it a go, and the rewards are endless.
Mitchel Squires, thank you very much for joining the program.
Thank you.